you know.
And you actually you've had a chance to play with a lot of those people at
Yeah.
this point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, has that been part of it? Just the kind of like the
Yes.
thrill.
Yeah. It's been a part of everything. The greatest thing that's happened in my life is for people like Eric or Buddy or BB to do something very rare, which is to accept me, to accept a younger guy, to accept a guy who's made pop music but wants to play blues, you know. To be accepted like that is all I need. You know, Albert Collins used to say at the end of a show, "Thank you for accepting me." And I thought that was just such a brilliant way to say it, you know. Thank you for accepting me. It's really all it comes down to. And for those guys, especially, I think there's this understanding in the blues lineage that it's going to be a tough time getting through to the inner circle, that you're going to have some people play goalie, you know, and they certainly do. What's this white boy doing is kind of a stock question that you run up against at this point in the game. And it's almost like there's two levels that my relationship with those guys works on. One of them is just we genuinely like each other, just really, really like each other. And the other one is that they acknowledge that it's going to be tough for me, and they want me to not give up and understand that, well, they like me, so who cares about so-and-so from the so-and-so press, or, you know, so-and-so from so-and-so.com, you know what I mean?
Right. I mean, there's this moment on Try where you're just talking to the audience somewhere, and the bit about like where the blues was born,
Right.
Fairfield,
well,
Connecticut.
You know, yeah. Well, trying to stare at the white elephant in the room and go, you know, hi, I'm the white elephant. Hey, how you doing? You know, but I've always stood up for blues music as being something that is self-anointing. It's like, if you decide, if you're smart enough, if you're cool enough to decide that, I mean, there are enough things in life that people are jockeying for position to try and fake. Blues is not one of them. There's maybe someday you can accuse somebody of being a poser by selling out and playing blues music. That's just not going to happen in my lifetime. If you are cool enough, if there's a 15-year-old kid who's hip enough to decide that he wants to be like Freddie King, and he's going to go buy a cherry red 335 electric guitar, and he wants to be like Freddie King, he's already like Freddie King. He's already like him, you know? I mean, he might not play like him, but he's as much like Freddie King as Freddie King was, in the sense that they're connected to that thing that not everybody is connected to, and it takes certain people to go, wait a minute, this is where that's at. I defend that, you know? And I'm really so thankful in my life that my heroes haven't snubbed me, because it would have broken my heart if my hero snubbed. I didn't want to meet Clapton for a long time because I didn't want him to not like me, you know? It's an interesting relationship to have with somebody where you put that much kind of out in front of them.
Did you sort of just have this fear that he kind of think you were a hack or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or...
Sure.
Right.
Sure, or anything like that boy rubs me wrong, you know? And maybe I do, I don't know, but we get along great, and not to exploit a relationship at all, because we don't talk all the time. We keep in touch, but we don't talk all the time. It's just I need it, you know? I need it in a lot of ways. I need it in the sense that with all these guys, there's not a huge community, you know? And I don't have a lot of people to relate to in what I'm doing. Eric was the first person that I'd ever met who loved blues and had a bunch of money. You know what I mean? I never knew any other person who loved blues and had a bunch of money.
Wait, where'd the bunch of money come in?
Well, you know,
it's
just like
separate issue,
I just
right?
never knew anybody. I'm the only person I know who's got a bunch of money. If you really break it down, it's like, I'm not just trying to say it just to say it. I mean, I mean to kind of illustrate a different point, which is, it's a lonely experience doing what I do, because I'm not in a band, you know? It's not like you get together with your 4 other bandmates and you all go buy Ferraris and you race them to Las Vegas, which I think would be a blast to do. I mean, I would love to get a royalty check and go like, hey guys, we got 6 of these this year. What do you say we take this one and we all go to the dealership and I'll go down with you. I'll go do it. I'll do it if you do it. Let's go get Ferraris and just drive them from LA to Las Vegas. That would be fantastic. That's not going to happen for me because I'm a solo artist. So I've always kind of been very kind of shy and quiet. And then you meet a guy who like buys as many watches as you do, and you're like, oh wow, this is great. And I see how you react to life when you play guitar, and I can see how you make life work. And that was a very pivotal relationship with me, meeting Eric, like figuring out how to behave. I copy people. I'm a copycat, you know? It's just that I copy the right things. I copy what people should be copying. Like coming up as a musician, when I could have figured out by meeting some people that it's kind of cool to be a prick, I wanted to copy people who were really, really nice, who played their asses off on stage, and then when there was a line of people at the merch table to talk to them, they looked them so dead in the eye that that other person lost time, you know? And I was like, I want to do that. And all the way up till 5 minutes ago, to see someone do something and you go, I want to do that. You know, I do it all the time. In fact, I was talking yesterday about, meeting somebody and adopting the way that they email somebody back and doing it now, you know? I love copying.
But with the trio, is it kind of just seeing other groups, like their live dynamic, and just kind of envying that in a way and really wanting to go out there? I mean, because I know you guys didn't rehearse much at all before hitting the road, right?
We only rehearsed for about 4 or 5 days. But that's when we wrote all the original tunes in that streak. That was all out of pure necessity. I was so scared of being a cover band that I wrote the whole band wrote these tunes really, really fast. The band wrote these tunes. We wrote about 4 or 5 tunes, and I wrote the lyrics in the hotel rooms in the first week of the show. I wrote the lyrics for a song called Try in the production office in San Francisco, taped the lyrics to the monitor, and sang off the monitor. I wrote the lyrics for a song called Good Love Is on the Way before night 2 of L.A. I went back from sound check, ordered room service, turned all the lights off, just went, how bad do you want to have this song done for L.A.? Real bad. So write it. It was an amazing place to write music from. And it was just a run and gun thing, you know? And as for other trios, in the vibe that they present, it's all the same vibe. It's like Cream or Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble or any of these bands, or even bands on our trios. It's all the same thing they're picking up. It's not different. It's all contributing to the same cause. The John Mayer trio now comes in, and again, I don't care what anybody says. As long as you pick it up, you pick it up. It doesn't matter if you're good at it, if you're better than Stevie Ray Vaughan, if you're not as good as Stevie Ray Vaughan, if you're ripping Stevie. It doesn't matter. Somebody in 2005 and 2006 is thinking about picking this thing up. If you're at least thinking about picking it up, then you've already picked it up. Because it's so rare. Because nobody cares about it. Or nobody has cared about it in the last 15 years.
Well, were you worried at all? I mean, did you have this thought that, you'd played, obviously, so many shows, and you have these fans that you're going out there and their reaction is going to be like, what the hell is this? I mean, did you have any feelings about kind of what your audience was?
Yeah, a little bit. But I also knew that, number one, my audience is fantastic. They're actually really smart, but not to the point where they're so self-aware that it's disgusting. So there's a perfect kind of, it's incredibly giving. It's a generous kind of intelligence, because it manifests itself in a way that is so giving and doesn't ever come off sly or sarcastic. So it's like, if I mention in an interview that I love Albert King, people go to buy Albert King records, or at least download it and listen to find out what it is. And then I go and play these shows, and girls are cheering for guitar solos in like those cool hip muso places to cheer where most people don't. But the musician's like, how'd they know that this was the place to cheer? And then, on the other hand too, my obligation to being a great musician is being calibrated as much as possible to being a normal person. If you're a normal person, then the things that you like will be normal person likes and dislikes. If you become so refined that you refine yourself out of the game of life, then you're doing things that are so esoteric that they don't satisfy anybody but you. So I like to stay as normal as possible and then hope that, well, okay, I do the math. I'm normal. I like what this is, so I'm thinking other people will too.
What are you talking about musically there, though?
I believe in blues, and I believe that it's been misrepresented. Like a lot of music gets misrepresented.
As kind of inaccessible or something?
Yeah, well, for whatever reason, most music gets misrepresented. If I say I like pop music, you'll think of the worst pop. And why is that? Getting back to it, I believe in blues. I believe in blues. I believe it's been misrepresented a little bit, which is okay. It just needs somebody to take that blues fire and put it into a capsule that a lot of people can get into.